Welcome to Nerd Jam.
Hey, it's Nerd Jam and Nerd Jam and Nerd Jam.
I thought you were going to go on a Celine Dion riff there.
That was kind of Axl Rose in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well,
you were a little too soft on it, man. I felt a little more Canadian than American come out of you right there.
Sure. Well, welcome to the Echo Chamber here on this very special episode of Nerd Jam. We're coming to you live from the bowels of Carlsbad Cavern. That's what I was trying to say.
Whose cavern?
Carlsbad Cavern. It's a famous cave.
Oh, I know of it because it's so famous.
Exactly. Anywho, so we're here for Nerd Jam, episode 5. You can find us on Podbean. You can find us on our Facebook pages.
Do we have Facebook yet?
We don't. I tried to make a Nerd Jam specific Facebook, and instead it's just my own personal Facebook.
Okay, baby steps, people. Baby steps.
Exactly. We're getting there.
His profile picture is just Nerd Jam, so we're getting there. Progress.
Exactly.
Change. All that garbage.
So what are we talking about tonight on Nerd Jam?
Well, tonight we have a whole big lineup. We got some Oscars coming out. The Oscar nominations came out, and we're big movie buffs, aren't we, Matt?
Oh yeah, big movie buff.
So we're definitely going to go over the Oscar nominations, see what's up with that. Then next, we want to go over what we've been reading. You heard a lot. We got some positive responses from that last time.
Yep.
And
we even had some people say they went out and bought comics based on what we were reading.
Yeah, so that's what we want to do. We want to give you a little insight of what's good about them and what you might like about them. And then, Matt, we have another top 7 list.
Yeah, top 7 for some reason, as we like to say around here. We have top 7 robots.
Woohoo! Beep bop, shoot bop, ba da ba da ba da ba da.
Danger, Will Robinson.
I tried doing robot. We both kind of did this jazz thing.
Yeah.
You had a Muddy Waters thing going, and I went to do the shibop ba da ba da.
It was like a freestyle ska jazz.
We're gonna get some live musicians on here one of these times.
Yeah.
They have to wear hipster nerdy glasses, but we'll make it work.
Exactly. We'll give them some craft beer.
This will be the best hidden bar, so they'll feel very, very hipster-ish. So they go, oh, no one else knows about this bar. It's like, yeah, this is a bar. And then to wrap it all up, of course, we have to wrap things up like we always do with another
great nerd in history. And this one's actually historical.
Oh, yes. It's because you're always complaining. The furthest we've gone back is the 90s, 80s.
Yeah.
And today, now to the Oscars, Matt. The Oscar nominations were just dropped.
Okay.
And
they should pick them up then, no.
Well, we're picking them up.
Oh, okay.
Us at Nerd News, we're going to pick them up and give everyone our insights about who we choose, about what we feel about the Oscars. And, of course, as movie buffs, we're up to date on all the biggest movies.
Every movie that's out there I've seen or heard of, for sure.
Of course. Well, Matt, I know for sure I've seen a few on the list. I know some of these movies, not everyone's seen them. They kind of say, oh, they're Hollywood elite, only the celebrities see the movies. But you know what? We go out of the way, we make sure we're up to date on them, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the ones that are nominated for Best Picture. Matt, I've seen La La Land.
I've been to La La Land a few times.
No, the movie. Okay, Matt. How about Arrival? That was a sci-fi adventure.
No, I've already arrived.
Oh no, not here, Matt. The movie. Oh, this isn't going well. Hell or High Water.
Yeah, that's sometimes I feel that way going to work. Say Hell or High Water.
This isn't working,
Hell or
Matt.
High Water if I'm going to go see this movie.
I think I got these boys figured.
Lion. Have you seen Lion?
Oh yeah, I went to the zoo. I saw a couple lions, saw a tiger.
How long ago have you been to the zoo?
I don't know. Are zoos even still a thing?
with the Wikipedia.
Side note.
Holograms. You think they'd sign them out by now?
Yeah.
Hidden Figures.
I saw Hidden Figures. I found Waldo and the bearded man that was missing a sandal.
This is about race and celebrating NASA, and this should be in our boats,
Oh
Matt.
yeah, that's nerdy. NASA space shuttles.
Moonlight.
Moonlight. I see that at nighttime when it comes in the window.
This is the segment.
Moonlighting with Bruce Willis and what's her name? Candice Bergen? No. Remember Moonlighting? No, that was before your time.
This is before my life.
What did you expect?
Okay, man, we gotta get something. Mel Gibson. He had this great army movie, Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge. I saw Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He had a 2x4 and he went, ho! And and he had American flag.
I want to pimp slap this segment so bad. Okay, you've got to see the Manchester by the Sea.
Is that Wicked Tuna, where they go out and fish for the giant bluefin tuna?
You're always hungry. You're always thinking about food. This is why, this is why we can't have nice things, Matt. Fences.
Yeah, that's when they lock me up after I go too crazy.
Oh no!
After I go to La La Land.
This is not.
Then they put me in the fences.
What law is there say I got the light?
Okay, let's skip the best picture.
I saw the lion and the fences all at the same time. I went there at night, so moonlight.
So that's our pick for best picture. You won't thanks for listening to Nerd Jam.
Yeah. So, okay.
But seriously though, we do have some nominations that do relate to us, and we have seen the movies for.
They're full disclosure, I haven't seen any of those movies. But
I've seen 3 of them. I've seen Hacksaw Ridge. I recommend that. Mel Gibson's back, baby, directing. I've seen Arrival.
I wanted to see Arrival. How come we didn't go see that together?
Because I didn't realize it came out until like a month after it came out.
We dropped the ball on that one.
That's well, I don't know.
Was it good?
I
Did you see Aliens?
I hated Arrival. Actually,
Spoiler alert.
Well, I'm not gonna spoil Arrival.
Oh, I was hoping you would.
I just hated it, but it's benevolent alien teaching humans how to be humans. I don't know. It's very well filmed though. I don't want to totally take everything from them. It was very well filmed, great acting, great sci-fi effects.
Is it one of those movies where you go the whole entire movie waiting to see the alien and then at the very end?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. You see the aliens pretty quickly, and they're very cool. They're like octopus creatures.
Oh,
just like flipping. That is not what the noise they make at all. The concept's cool, but nothing happens in the story.
Oh.
And then it's just like, these aliens are peaceful and you humans are a-holes. See how big of an a-holes you are humans? And I just like, give me something to care about, movie, please.
Like,
give me
they
something.
shoot these aliens with a shotgun.
Well,
and then
they did the typical like Russia and China. They want to shoot the aliens, well us because they had like a hippie lady try to be a translator. She's like,
of course.
we just want peace. And I just like I want to watch my schlocky Independence Day.
Yeah.
I want to go. And then the other one I seen was Hell or High Water.
Okay.
Which was very good, very good. I think I liked Hacksaw Ridge more. But it was kind of like a, kind of a cowboy. It's a modern day movie, but it's a cowboy shoot 'em up. You got
cool.
Jeff Bridges.
Oh.
He's thrown back in his stereotype character form.
Yeah.
He keeps on being a cowboy since
True Grit.
True Grit. I was gonna say since that movie had to carry that little girl 2,100 miles.
Biggest mistake you ever made.
He's good at playing a cowboy. I just like when I see him do it, I was like, oh, he's fallen in the stereotype, but he does a good job at it. So it's like you can't take anything away from them, cast him as that. But it's just kind of like we find something new for him now.
Strangely enough, he plays a great stoner hippie and a great cowboy, which are on
both sides of the political spectrum. I suppose going to politics. But there are two categories which I know we both have kind of ideal in somewhat. One of them was for best special effects. And the two movies I know we both seen that got nominated for that was Doctor Strange and Star Wars. There's other movies.
Which Star Wars? Rogue One?
Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
Please do not resist.
I was thinking Force Awakens, but that's old.
That would have been nominated for last year. They might have been nominated for last year. I can't tell you. The other ones are Deepwater Horizon, Jungle Book, Kubo and the Two Strings. I don't think those have a chance. Besides Kubo and the Two Strings, but I don't know. I see Rogue One or
I think
Doctor Strange shaking
Rogue
it.
One's gonna win it.
You think so?
Yep.
I would rather give it to Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I think Doctor Strange.
Those effects were kind of mind blowing. Something new for the Marvel. Something new in general. That's one thing I most positively took away from Doctor Strange was that. Are you still with Star Wars though?
I think Star Wars is gonna win it, but I think Doctor Strange deserves to win it.
That's just something about talking about Oscars because you're like, what is the elite celebrities one?
Yeah.
You might be right. They might be for Star Wars because they got Carrie Fisher sympathy vote, even though she was She was in it, but not in it.
Yeah.
And
that was part of the effects.
No one died from. Yes, you're right. That was part of the effects. So I guess she has to win it.
Yeah.
Since they brought her
back to life.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to Oscars, it's always like what I want and what the elite wants. So that's kind of, it's always a tough one.
Doctor Strange should win just from that hand scene.
Yeah, that's what my brain always keeps on going to when I talk about special effects, is when the hand's like, we love you.
Yeah.
Except it didn't feel so loving when it first happened.
Yeah.
We endorse Doctor Strange, but Star Wars is going to get it because Carrie Fisher died. And then the other one, which us nerds love in all of our movies, is makeup and hair design.
Exactly.
That's what makes a sci-fi movie pop, or comic book hero movies pop.
That's what gives cosplayers inspiration to do their thing later.
For sure, yeah. Well, it's something to live up to, and you're the one who everyone wants to get pictures with if you cosplay it right.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The two that we know of, or at least seen images of, is, well, there were only 3 nominations for this one: Suicide Squad, Star Trek, and the other one I've never even heard until today is A Man Called Of. And the images I've seen of it, I don't understand, is just an old man.
It's probably some young guy that they made.
That's what I'm thinking. It had to be. They had the Brad Pitt or something like that.
Yeah, Benjamin Button.
But let's just talk about the 2 movies we do know about, in Suicide Squad and Star Trek.
Suicide Squad, everyone looked great.
Yeah. I think maybe the casting could have been better for Killer Croc, but Killer Croc looked amazing.
Yeah, he did.
You didn't say, "Oh, that's makeup." You're like, "No, that's like, it looks like a little lizard man." And
I kind of like Ghetto Killer Croc though. Mm-hmm. I watch my BET.
It worked for me. The only reason I think they could have legit found someone who was like 6'6" or something like that, a little bit beefier, you know, whatever. The makeup looked great. It matched them.
Beautiful.
Now their makeup in that movie, Joker, Harley, Joker looked great.
Joker looked great and amazing, and all the tattoos.
Well, every single character, maybe besides Will Smith, had some sort of makeup done.
Yeah.
Captain Boomerang was a little bit more subtle, but the way he had his facial hair done with the ridiculous sideburns and stuff like that was really fun.
They did a great job of making him look scuzzy, trashy.
Like they found him hanging out in the sewer with Killer Croc.
Like he was behind a dumpster drunk.
Sorry. That's what I did.
And they were like, "Hey, you want to be in a movie?" Mm-hmm. And he was like, "What? Yeah, okay."
even I liked Katana too.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if that really counts. But that's makeup somewhere.
Yeah.
What's her name who changed 5 different times throughout the movie? Enchantress.
When she was all dirty and gross, that was makeup.
That looked great though.
Yeah, that looked great. There
was like 5 different stages, and the boogie stage is the stage I didn't like, but the one stage at the end where she was fighting him looked dirty as hell. The
CGI where her head didn't match with her body.
Yeah,
that was terrible.
I know you didn't see the movie. I did see Star Trek. I thought it was a great movie. Not the best ever, but you really seen like the blue people.
Yeah. I saw the Blue People. I saw the Blue Man Group.
They looked really good though.
Yeah.
You didn't see. I don't think you'd have seen this in the commercials, but they had this MacGuffin in the movie.
Okay.
And they're like, hide the thing from the bad guys. And then in the movie, the lady put the MacGuffin in the back of her head, and she had a little clamp thing. So that's really cool makeup. Like that's extraordinary. There was more diversity in Suicide Squad. But just there's a few more in Star Trek that might have popped more and could win it. So for me, I want to give it to Suicide Squad because I love for all the critics who hated this movie.
Yeah.
So for the Suicide Squad to be able to put on a Blu-ray. Oscar
award winning
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that is awesome.
I think last year Mad Max won this award. They got like 8 Oscars last year.
We love Mad Max. We could do a whole Nerd Jam just on Mad Max.
It will happen soon, and it'll be a lovely, lovely day when it happens.
It'll be a lovely, lovely day. Sorry, I got carried away.
So Matt, I guess
the spray paint away, James.
Okay, but I guess, man, I'm sorry to put in this segment because you're put you in this corner dilemma because you've got little info to work with. But between the two, who would you choose to get the Oscar?
For makeup, I would go with Suicide Squad. That might not be the best call because that's the only one I've seen of these 3 movies. But
you've seen the commercials. That's why you at least see what it like. Yeah. I know you didn't get a full hour and a half of it, but you at least get an idea of what Star Trek is giving it to us.
I just think that all the characters in Suicide Squad looked great. They looked comic booky, but also realistic, which is hard to pull off sometimes. Mm-hmm. Getting the color and the dynamic of the comic, but still looking like this could be in a real world thing. Harley Quinn looked amazing. Joker looked amazing.
Yeah, even the more subtle characters fit in very well.
Will Smith is Will Smith. You can't really go wrong with him. Yeah, I think Suicide Squad should win it.
No, like I said, it's diversity over what popped. I do like the little back of the head clan creation. That was really cool. I'm reading my head over this. I think the Oscars are definitely going to choose Star Trek, but I'm going to give it to Suicide Squad is who I would think winning is.
Yeah.
So that's our Oscar talk, everyone.
Woo!
Now you're ready for the Oscars.
Yes. Make your Oscar pool and dive in.
Dive right in. All right. Next for nerd news is is telling everyone what we've been reading today. Matt, you want to start us off?
Sure, nerd news. I just wanted to do that. I've been reading the Injustice series of comics. They are up to year 5. They do year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5.
Do they have a final year?
Well, in theory, year 5 would be the final year because, okay, so Injustice is a video game that was released for system, duh. It's basically a parallel universe where Joker, basically, it's hard to explain, but he drugs Superman with kryptonite drugs. Superman ends up accidentally killing Lois Lane, and Metropolis gets blown up with a nuke. And it's all Joker's fault.
What an a-hole.
So Superman kills Joker, and Batman's like, no, you can't kill people. And Superman's like, tough, I just did. So, and then the whole world kind of spirals out of control from there, where Superman becomes like the dictator of the universe. Well, the video game is set 5 years after this event.
And the comics are billing to what?
And so the comics are like the prequel for before the game. That's why they have year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4.
Well, they got Injustice 2 coming out. Are they going to do this is year 10. Now we got more comics coming out. Oh, and you're getting year 5, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, probably. Because year 5 is the last one that just came out. So it kind of works out perfectly that, hey, now you can move forward. I've read the first 3 years, and boy, they are depressing.
I'm laughing on the inside.
They're good comics, but man, they're dark and they're bleak, and people get killed left and right. Some of your favorite characters just get hardcore murdered. It's kind of brutal.
You just want to take a blade out while you're reading it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like...
Well, you were telling me about one, because I'm a big fan of Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
And you were telling me one story about that was going on with him, because the big deal I like about Damian Wayne is because when he first comes in the scene, Batman, throw him back in time, he died, a bunch of things always happen to Batman where he's out of the picture, he's a bad dad. Yeah. So instead, in the regular DC universe, Nightwing kind of takes him under his wing and acts like his big brother and stuff like that. What does Injustice decide to do with that relationship?
Injustice, Damian Wayne and Nightwing's taking Damian Wayne under his wing and they're training, but Damian Wayne's a brat and an a-hole. Sure. And he has a tendency that when he's training with Dick Grayson, Nightwing, he'll get mad at him and Dick Grayson will have his back turned and Damian will throw his baton at the back of Dick Grayson's head. And Dick Grayson always turns around at the last second and catches it. Like he totally knows it's coming.
Bring it.
So something like they kind of like they're in sync with each other.
It's kind of like their little game they play.
Sure.
Like Damian's like, I hate you, and throws his baton at the back of Dick Grayson's head, and Dick Grayson turns at the last second and catches it. And is like, oh, you're too slow for me. You know? As the events develop, Damian Wayne agrees with Superman. He says, yeah, this is right. We should take over. We should lock up all these criminals. We should make the world peaceful whether they like it or not. And Dick Grayson's like, no, we can't do it. And so there comes a point where Superman and his allies, Wonder Woman, a few other heroes, team up with Superman, and they're going into Arkham Asylum, and they're removing all the criminals forcibly to an undisclosed location.
Oh, like a Guantanamo Bay or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Something fun like that.
Exactly. And so then Batman and his allies, which are like the resistance to Superman, show up to like, no, you can't do this. This isn't right. This is injustice. Hence the name. So anyway, Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne are fighting, and as they're fighting, they're arguing, and then Dick Grayson gets distracted and turns his back to Damian Wayne, and Damian Wayne throws his baton at the back of Dick Grayson's head, and then Dick Grayson gets distracted and doesn't turn around, and it hits him in the back of the head, knocks Dick Grayson out, he falls over, lands on a piece of rubble, and breaks his neck and dies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
And then Damian Wayne's like, wait, no, that wasn't supposed to happen. You're supposed to turn around and catch it. What did I just... And then Bruce Wayne, Batman's like, what did you do? What did you do?
You disappoint me.
Why'd you say that name? No, he doesn't say that. I couldn't resist. And then Damien's like, I'm sorry. And
Oh, that sounds so horrifying, because probably Batman's like, this is why I didn't like use a son. It's like, you probably weren't raising him in the first place.
It's kind of like having one son murder your other son. It's kind of like Cain and Abel.
Oh my gosh, you're right. You make it seem like he was angry, but it's like brothers fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you fight, you want to punch your brother, you do punch your brother, but if that punch kills your brother, you would feel like the worst person in the world.
Exactly.
But this time they throw dangerous weapons at the back of their heads, but that's horrible.
Yeah.
What's the newest stuff you got?
Newest stuff I got, year 3 was basically all about the magical characters getting involved, because so a lot of people don't realize this. Superman, everyone knows, is weak against kryptonite. What a lot of people don't realize is Superman is also weak against magic and magic-based attacks. And so John Constantine basically says, we got to take this bugger, we got to kick him right in the bollocks. And give
with
him
magic?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so he makes his team of magic users with Zatanna and Dr. Fate, and they go to bring the war to Superman, but then Superman has his own magic-based allies, and the Spectre gets involved, and Mr. Mixie's Picklick, whatever his name, gets involved.
The guy who what's his deal?
They used to call him Mixelplick on the cartoon, but I think it's actually supposed to be pronounced.
He cancels out Superman's powers, right? Okay.
Yeah, he's like a little gnome imp thing from another dimension.
And I know he's hella annoying.
Yeah.
Don't you touch me, you super duper party pooper!
Because I remember from the show, he just threw it up and Batman was like, get off my shoulder, you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the one thing I remember is like, if you can say my name, I'll go away or something like that.
He has to say his name backwards. It's kind of like a Rumpelstiltskin guy.
And then Batman finds a way to make him say his own name or something like that, and he says it, and he just keeps on tricking himself, and he's like, oh, this guy's stupid.
Yeah.
But they create the Dark Justice League, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And
is that what it is?
It's kind of like that, but it's also different.
Okay.
It does tie in a lot to Justice League Dark, actually, but Madame Xanadu's in it as well, but then, I don't know. But anyways, as always, John Constantine has his own selfish, ulterior motives that come to light at the end, so he's basically playing everyone for his own purpose, as he is wont to do, if you know anything about John Constantine.
I was going to say, I've started reading John Constantine, and I don't get that gist at all, but maybe I haven't gone deep enough into John Constantine.
You gotta get deeper into it. That's like his main character.
He smokes and sexes people, but he's not like an a-hole about it.
Oh no, he uses and abuses people.
Oh.
And usually it's with a greater purpose. Usually it's to save the world, but...
Oh, okay, I was going to say, he didn't murder a guy, but it was for the good of the world.
Yeah, it's like he saves the world, but in the end, F's over like 10 different people. But it's like, hey, I saved the world. Sorry, you 10 people had to get F'd over in the process.
Oh, don't worry. If things go wrong, then we'll all be too dead to care.
Anything else, Matt?
I really like it. It's really depressing. I always tell Jim about it and say I'm not going to read it anymore because it's too depressing, and then I jump right back on it and read more. So, one thing I want to say is Harley Quinn's in it, and she really annoys me because it seems like they're trying to make her into Deadpool. She makes these stupid jokes, and there's like this running joke where she has a fake mustache, and they just keep making reference to it, and it's really stupid, and I don't know. To me, I just get the feeling that they're like trying to say, hey, we need a Deadpool character. Let's make Harley Quinn into Deadpool.
What would be the borderline of what makes Harley Quinn, and what makes Harley Quinn a Deadpool ripoff? What you described, I know exactly what you mean, but like to people who are listening at home, what you just described is like, wasn't that Harley Quinn? Isn't she kind of silly and doesn't she make bad jokes? And
yeah,
I'm not calling you in the spot. Like I actually have a few examples myself, but it's like, here's my thing. I've been actually kind of getting really pissed off about this because everyone, Deadpool movie comes out, rated R, and I was like, oh, well, all the comic movies that are going to do a comedy rated R and rip it off or whatever like that. Mm-hmm. It's like, I haven't seen any comic movies yet. Deadpool is just out, so maybe like March of 2016. Movie studios have started making these bad rip-off movies. We don't know yet. Yeah. Deadpool 2 is coming out, so I don't think they dare do that, but we'll see what Hollywood pulls out of their buttocks.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing all across the board comics either ripping off or maybe they seem like they're ripping off. Spawn comics, I was like, oh, I'll read a Spawn comic. That really has a cool cover. Basically, to me, what Deadpool character does, he walks around and he makes bad jokes, and there's normal people. He gets normal people to act outrageous. and then he kills people in the process or something of that nature.
Yeah.
So this is like in a story. It's not in a story. Like, let's say, oh, there's a comic book convention. So a Deadpool character rock at a comic book convention, make fun of this person. This seems like a normal person until he makes fun of them, and they go, oh, I'm going crazy now. And then Deadpool comes and keeps on making quips about it. That happened with Spawn. I read the Rocket Raccoon comics. Rocket Raccoon does that. He's crashed on Earth, so he goes around. There's people just having food at the restaurant. He makes a stupid joke, and then they go crazy.
Bitches! You bitches!
And then the Rocket Raccoon just keep on making bad jokes. Harley Quinn. To me, DC hasn't totally murdered her in the comics because it's in the Harley Quinn comics only that she does this.
Okay.
She walks around. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna protest these people who are ruining this park." And the construction workers are normal, but she changes stuff in the tree, and they're going crazy now. And it just becomes there's no storyline. So like those comics, Deadpool actually does a better job of that because he does have a storyline.
Right.
He's pissed off Captain America, but he's pissed off Captain America for a reason because he's trying to get something done. And Captain America doesn't understand it. But in these other comics, there's no storyline. They just get in these mundane situations, and it's so zany. But it's like nothing's happening.
Well, I guess the reason I was comparing her to Deadpool is that so it'll be like this serious situation. It'll be like this life or death, end of the world situation, and Harley Quinn's like, "Look at me, I got a fake mustache, yay!"
Oh, okay. So it's not that she's joking, but it's so off topic. It's not relative because Joker would do that all the time. He's gonna die, and he's like, "Oh, I have a bag of laughs."
Yeah, parts like
look at this fish I pulled my pants. I know what you mean.
She'll be like, "Hey Shazam, you're kind of cute. You should say pow." And he's like, "Well, what do you mean pow?" And then she like hits him with a big mallet and it says pow, you know. And then she's like, "There, that's what I mean," you know. Or it's just like, duh.
People might not agree with me, but I'm a big fan of Scary Movie 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But then I got really pissed off because Keenan Ivory Wayans is the one who made the first two. Then he's like, I'm out of this B.
Yeah.
But then once he did that, Scary Movie 3...
I think that's exactly how he said it.
I'm out of this B.
I'm out of this B,
And he took his beehive and he walked away. And
Yeah.
they're like, no!
He was like riding in a giant fiberglass bee. He was like, I'm out of this bee. And he got out and flew away.
I want to say that's the case, but if that was the case, that would end up in one of his comedies. So the thing was that annoyed me about Scary Movie 3 is they're not making fun of horror movies anymore. They're making fun of
sci-fi.
Well, no. The things that don't have to do with anything.
Oh yeah,
Like look how big his hat is. Isn't that silly? And it's like, what is that referring to?
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
you're totally right. That's why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at the movie. I'm laughing at you're exactly right.
They're make references, make things like it has to be related to something for us to be hooked in the joke. That's why everyone likes Airplane because all the jokes have something little hook on, and on their own they'd be funny too. But you're like, okay.
That's part of why I don't like Family Guy because I used to love Family Guy, but it's like
they relied on references too much, and you're like, okay, and
remember that time I played golf with the mayor, or I don't know. I'm just.
What's so and so celeb? Remember that time I played golf with Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
And you're just like,
and then
so
it had absolutely nothing to do.
They wouldn't even do the Happy Gilmore gimmick either. They would just be like, oh, it's Adam Sandler. Good reference.
They made fun of that on South Park too. I've had tea with Muhammad or whatever. But yeah,
then that's the thing that's like make something that's related to what we're doing. Give us something to be hooked into.
Yeah.
Rather than Harley Quinn. Look at me, I pulled a fish on my pants. Like, we're freaking fighting this guy. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
But if she makes a joke about the guy they're fighting, well, then that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Then she takes the seriousness out of the situation. When I got the Harley Quinn comic, and I was like, this is stupid. And one point I want to make about Harley Quinn that they haven't completely killed her yet is Suicide Squad comics.
Well, you've come to the right place.
She's the main character. She's the one who the story arc is about. And they taking Harley Quinn very seriously. Like, she's not acting like, oh, I'm a professional criminal now. She's still joking around, but it's related to the fights they're in.
I've seen some Deadpool comics where they do this really well, where they'll show things from Deadpool's point of view.
Deadpool?
Yeah, Deadpool. They'll show things from Deadpool's point of view, and everything's all crazy and wow, it's crazy. And then they'll show things from someone else's point of view, like a normal person, and everything's like normal and serious. And Deadpool, they're like, "What's wrong with this guy?
You're about to be killed by his Zamboni."
And then they'll switch back to Deadpool, and everything looks like anime or like 8-bit video games or something. You know, it's like
well, that's fun though because it's related to the situation.
It's not that it's he's that nuts that he's like his perception of reality is off kind of thing.
I can't say I'm the biggest fan of the Deadpool comics, but I like the character a lot. They're not doing anything wrong, but it just kind of makes me think of, because like I said, they always got a storyline, so it just kind of always makes me ponder when they're ripping off Deadpool. It's like, do they know what they're ripping off, or are they just going, well, he's making a reference, he's making a joke. It's like, but that has to be related to something, has to be related to that hook that we're reading the comic book in the first place.
Speaking of not related, we've gotten way off topic of Injustice, so we should probably bring her back in. And what are you reading?
I've been keeping up in the new 52 Flash series.
Oh, cool.
Those actually are probably maybe my second favorite of all the new 52s. My first is maybe Aquaman.
When New 52 came out, I absolutely hated it. I was like, why are they messing up the DC universe? This is so dumb. And now I'm like, I love New... It's like, if it's not New 52, I'm like, oh, I don't want to read it. This isn't New 52. It's like I've gone... Well, and now I like everything. I mean, I can appreciate everything for what it's worth, but it's funny how I was like, no, I'm totally...
It's one of those things in hindsight, like, don't we...
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, I want to say about New 52 is, like, I might be...
It was a sea boot. Sorry.
It is indeed a sea boot, and we're not going to explain to you what a sea boot is.
Yep.
Go watch Manchester by the Sea, and you'll see plenty of sea boots.
Yep.
The thing with New 52 is I've been a big comic book fan since the 90s. I mean, not the 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. And for the only comics though I've consistently stayed with is like Spider-Man, Batman, Green Lantern. So these comics I'm catching up with New 52 are like Flash, Aquaman. So I'm kind of catching their origin story for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's being told just fine. They're kind of hurrying things along because they know most comic readers know what's going on. But for me, it's kind of a nice little catch-up because I don't know Aquaman that well. I don't know Flash that well. So the new 52s are kind of nice and brand new. And as far as like the Rogues go, one thing they do with the Rogues in New 52, I don't know if I agree with them or not, but they pretty much made them mutants. Captain Cold, what all the Rogues do is like, what we're doing isn't working. All what Flashes do is take away our weapons, and then we're effed. So what they do is they find this transmuter machine, something that you see in something from The Fly, I guess.
Oh, sure.
And so they go, oh, okay, we're gonna all put our weapons in. And there's Flash, Heatwave, Mirror Master, Weather Wizard, and they all do it. And they pretty much what ends up happening is they all combine with their weapons. So Captain Cold is like using his hands to go freeze.
Yep.
And the Heatwave gets the worst of it because his whole body becomes a freaking furnace. Like he's got little thingies to pull up in for his chest to go breathe fire in.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it's horrible. And okay, I'm gonna sidetrack. Pretty much what the story is: before Flash goes against the Rogues in this storyline, Reverse Flash blows up the police headquarters.
Okay.
And they're like, don't do it, Flash. And Flash is like, I'm saving people. I gotta do it. So they blame Flash because Reverse Flash runs away. And so what the police department does for some stupid reason is they go, well, we know who can stop the Flash. The Rogues. So they hire the Rogues to do it, and it's a pretty fun storyline because Captain Cold is very serious. He's like, we got a job to do. Let's do this job, Rogue. He's a great captain. Pun intended. I don't care.
Right.
But then maybe that's why he's called captain. I don't know.
Right. Yep.
But it's very cool to see how he strategizes, and the police department's like, you gotta help us with this other situation. There's a fire. There's a little girl in it, and they're like, that's not what we're paid to do. And they're like, but do it. And I guess there's one situation to do it. I guess, and they do it very well. So it's like it gives you a little, what if they were good guys situation. Spoilers for this. The Riddler is involved in this.
Riddle me this!
This ends up being, because the police are using probes to find the Flash, and every time there's energy from the Speed Force, they go, bam, there's the Flash. And turns out Riddler was the one who made all his probes.
Oh.
And then he's like, the reveal is great because throughout the whole Rogue storyline, they're like, oh, here's Riddler manipulating the police, and here's Riddler manipulating the Rogues because he has Heatwave kidnapped. He's going to use Heatwave as a bomb if whatever he has isn't going to work out. And it's great until he's revealed, and then as soon as he's revealed, Riddler starts acting like a complete idiot.
There's something kahuna!
It's so bad. We see the characters do this in Gotham a lot.
Yeah.
Like Penguin will have the whole world, and then he'll get paranoid and start acting like an idiot and lose everything. And that's what happens. It's a very fun storyline until Riddler is revealed. Riddler is great in it, but it sucks that when he's revealed, when you finally have a Riddler storyline, he's stupid. But I recommend it. Flash. Cool. New 52 Flash is great. Rogues are great. Captain Cold, amazing.
One thing I want to say about New 52 is I like, reboots and C-boots and whatnot, but it helps with the sliding time factor. Like, okay, so I'm going to go with Marvel, for example. You make Spider-Man in 1960 64 or 63 or whatever, and then now it's 2016, and he's like aged maybe 5 years, if that. And it's like it's been really 50 years, but he's only aged 5 years, and technology and stuff changes. Now he's walking around with a cell phone, whereas in 1960 he was walking around with a sweater vest and a bow tie.
Right.
And so with New 52, it kind of helps that
You can update some things.
Yeah, it helps with the suspension of disbelief of the time thing, and I've read
especially with characters like Batman, who's got like he's even got a space station on the moon.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh crud.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's something they wouldn't even think about in the 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
Space station, you shut up with your witchcraft.
That would have been a whole comic series just by itself, as Space
Batman.
Station.
right.
There's a man that lives in space on a station.
We're gonna hit that a couple times in our robot segment.
Oh yeah.
All right, Matt. What else have you been reading?
I've been reading the Onslaught saga from the 90s, mid-90s, X-Men. Huge thing, affected the entire Marvel universe. Basically, how this came about for me was I remember I was into comics when this first came around, but I never really read any of the Onslaught comics. Nowadays, I like the Marvel Legends figures, and the Marvel Legends figures have a gimmick that works on nerds like me to get you to buy them all, is that you get a piece, a Build-A-Figure piece. So you get the arm with this guy, and the leg with this guy, and the head with this guy.
They let you be your own Frankenstein.
Exactly. And then when you get the whole series, then you're able to build your own big figure of a larger character. And the series Onslaught was the Build-A-Figure. And I was like, wow, this guy is so cool. It's actually one of my favorite action figures that I currently own.
Sure.
Super pumped about my Onslaught figure. And so then I was like, I need to find out more about this guy. Like, I knew of him. I knew that he was a big deal. And so now I'm like, what is the actual story?
So you got hooked in by the design, the artwork, before you actually found out who the character was. Okay.
Yeah. And so basically what he is, being of pure psionic energy, created from the evil part of Charles Xavier's mind and Magneto's mind.
Okay.
Merged together.
Why did this happen?
There's a storyline called Fatal Attractions where Magneto's attacking the X-Men like he's wont to do, and it gets crazy. It really escalates, and Charles Xavier's like, I should have put a stop to you years ago, and Magneto's like, yeah, whatever, you're all talk. And then at one point,
your mama should have put a stop to you years ago. I'm sorry.
At one point, Magneto uses his magnetic powers to rip the adamantium out of Wolverine's skeleton.
And that's when he's feral Wolverine.
And that's when he's feral Wolverine with bone claws. And then after Magneto does that, Charles Xavier's like, no, you've gone too far! And then uses his powers to like completely erase Magneto's mind and basically turn him into a vegetable. But in the process of doing that, he actually absorbed part of Magneto's mind. He didn't just erase it, like he like actually sort of like sucked it into himself.
Sure. So he started getting those inklings too.
So then like his subconscious was mixed with Magneto's subconscious, and then through the power of Charles Xavier's mind and powers, it started to become a living entity just of itself.
Well, I can almost see that being like the psychological aspect of it all, because those two have the same goals but different ways of going about it.
Yeah.
So for me, that meld actually kind of makes a lot of sense. You know, just that you just need that one like with the Batman, one bad day.
Yeah.
And you get that. So that's why for me that actually sounds pretty cool. That the fact that it's finally changing them.
And so what happens is there was the Age of Apocalypse storyline where a character went back in time, killed Charles Xavier, led to Apocalypse taking over the Earth, and there was a whole alternate reality. Cable, otherwise known as X-Man, Nate Gray, from that timeline, when it was all resolved, came over to the mainstream Marvel universe. So it was basically a super powerful version of Cable without the robot parts. He was younger, and he had super powerful psychic, psionic abilities.
Sure.
And so Charles Xavier is like, I'm going to send my little astral form out to investigate this. Nate Gray basically pulls him out of the psychic realm into reality just with his powers. Like, and Charles Xavier's like, holy crap, I didn't know that was even possible. Well, in the meanwhile, in the back of his head, Onslaught is like, I see how I can do this now. So then that's how like Onslaught learns how to escape from Charles Xavier's mind into the real world and become his own entity.
You sound like Ann Fresher for a second. Oh, that's even a worse impression. Mr. Bushman. Oh, that sounds more like a gremlin. I don't know.
We
We always do these impressions, and they just sound like you got punched in the throat.
This leads to super duper massive battles with the X-Men and eventually the entire Marvel Universe.
Captain, people are afraid.
What they used the company did as an excuse at the time.
Company as in Marvel or company?
Company as in Marvel back in 1996. Okay. Image Comics was a big thing. Marvel was losing money, competing.
So Marvel found a way to rip off the little guy?
What Marvel did was they, some of their characters who ironically weren't popular at the time, Iron Man, Captain America, Fantastic Four, which are now like some of Marvel's biggest characters because of the movies, but at the time they were like their scrub characters.
Well, except Fantastic
well,
Four.
Yeah,
They're never going to be popular.
So Marvel basically leased those characters to Image, and Image was able to make their own Image Comics version of this.
I didn't know this.
Called Heroes Reborn.
Okay.
And they eventually came back to Marvel, and they've worked it into the storyline and everything. But the storyline of how this was possible was Onslaught basically blasted them so hard he blasted them right out of the universe and blasted them into the Image universe.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so
I'm glad Image gets some love.
Yeah, and so in the Marvel universe, they're all like, oh no, they're all dead. But really, they weren't dead. They were existing in the Image universe, and they had all these Image artists doing interpretations of them and stuff.
I never heard of them doing it before. Usually they do that, like they blast them into the universe, but usually it's an universe within that universe. But that's a good way to get out of here, you.
Yeah.
Leave now!
So that's cool. So that's what I've been reading, Onslaught Saga.
He looks like Onslaught. He always looks like just a giant Magneto, but just everything's more angled.
Yeah, he's kind of like a spiky giant Magneto. He definitely has the Magneto helmet, and eventually he like mutates and morphs and becomes sort of like this alien crab. He like evolves into a new form and becomes like this alien crab looking.
Well, Magneto and Professor X are like the two most powerful mutants.
Yeah.
They're level 5 if we were going by the third movie.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What they would say in the comics is Omega level mutants.
Yeah.
But level 5, let's just pull numbers out of our butt.
We can go into X-Men 3 another day.
It's terrible.
But, yes, I concur. But no, we watched Age of Apocalypse together, and I was waiting for Onslaught to happen.
Like muttering in the seat next to me going, Onslaught. I was like,
we got another BA.
Jim, settle down.
Onslaught. I was doing a Bloody Mary thing where I was like, if I say it 3 times, it'll come true.
Yeah.
That's not how movies work, though.
Yeah. Is it? What else are you reading? What's your second pick for the podcast?
My second pick, I mentioned it earlier, I'm just gonna get into it now. Constantine.
All right then, on with the show.
I finally, you've been pushing him on me for a while.
Yeah.
You've been pushing him on me for a while, and I was like, I'm gonna read some Constantine. And
I love Constantine.
I love Constantine, and I love Keanu Reeves Constantine, and I know you hate that, but I don't know. I'm a big sucker for Keanu Reeves. I think people make fun of him too much because of Bill and Ted Adventure, which people like too. So I don't know why they use it.
I actually like Keanu Reeves, and I like Constantine. I like Constantine the movie, but I don't think it's
a good
Constantine. If they would have called it Larry Black
Keanu
Magic,
Reeves saves the day.
Keanu Black Magic, Devilman, then I would have loved it. I thought it was a great movie, but it's not a Constantine movie.
Yeah, and reading the comics, I totally get what you mean. He's got this frayed, like kind of like what I got, like the white man fro.
He's like a 40-year-old blonde British man.
Yeah,
not a 20-year-old or 30-year-old, however, Keanu Reeves. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He looks more like, actually the artist based his appearance off of Sting, the singer.
I was thinking that. Oh, I'm so happy you mentioned that because I never got to look it up. I was like, he kind of looks like Police Guy. Yeah. And I never thought to sit down and do the homework. But no, I'm happy you told me that. Yeah. Constantine, to me, it's kind of, I enjoy it. It's very creative. It's very different. It's very weird. I could see why. DC kind of throws them into the regular storylines, but not really, and I can definitely understand why, because they're not your typical magic stuff. It's what I think magic should be.
Yeah.
It's a totally different world. Like, people, when they do magic, they dumb it down so we can watch it, a la Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's how you get people on board, but this is like a totally different realm. In one of the stories I read, he goes to this voodoo doctor guy, but he's got a suite in a hotel in New York.
Yo.
And it's like, oh, okay, but in the suite, there's a forest.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "What are you doing in my home?" And he's very mad and constantly beats the crap out of one of his big guards. But the guy's like a doof. He's like just a wrestler guy. And he's just like, "It's bad. You treat him like a dog." And he's like, "The guy's bigger than you, Constantine. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Constantine knows this world well.
Yeah.
He's not a newbie, which is very fun because he just jumps right into doing the bukakaka magic.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I need to sacrifice. Here's a bird." I'm gonna cuts off bird, sacrifices it, gets the magic going, gets the magic party on.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned Constantine. I don't see him being an evil person. He lives with a lot of dread.
Yeah.
He has a chip on his shoulder.
He's not so much evil as he is maybe selfish or
I
self-motivated.
don't even see him as selfish. I see him being like the Mel Gibson kind of character, where he like the Road Warrior kind of character.
Oh, sure, yeah. That's
where he just wants to get by, but he's selfish, but only because he knows the world is cruel.
Yeah.
The underworld is cruel.
Yeah.
And the two don't mash because the underworld shouldn't be above, and people are treating him like a-holes, and he's like, "I'm trying to save you people."
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of cool because there's a lot of drugs involved.
Yeah.
Because drugs are bad, okay?
And I feel like the people who wrote this were doing drugs.
Yeah.
which is fine.
If you do them, you're bad.
I don't know. There's some twisted storylines that feel like a dream.
Yeah.
It's to me, but it's kind of a slow burn though, because
It definitely is.
Some comics I can read a whole novel in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays the books are shorter and shorter, and the volumes I'm getting are pretty thick. But sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to take a break, or it's kind of like, okay, I get one page. Okay, now I get a hook going.
Yeah.
So they're not the most. You gotta if you're a new reader to it, give it a chance.
Yeah.
It's not gonna throw you in there right away.
And it's not like a superhero comic where there's bright colors and action jumping off the dark.
Cool
dreary.
colors.
Yeah. And a lot of interesting visuals, sometimes a lot of bizarre, sometimes confusing visuals. It's like, what am I looking at here?
Kind of controversial material too. One of the storylines I read was like a little girl being kidnapped, almost marrying a man. And it was weird how the man kind of took it in. And it's like, I love you, and he kept on saying these things, and I just felt so dirty.
Yeah.
So dirty reading it. It wasn't a simplified, he's a bad guy, go get him. But they just went in depth of what this little girl was thinking of, because her parents treat her like crap. Her parents ignore her, so she was looking for someone to love. So they almost made it seem reasonable. But yeah, I recommend it. But I recommend it
like viewer discretion advised.
Yeah, viewer discretion advised. Give it a chance if you want something different. You were talking about how injustice makes you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like that stuff. Not the depression stuff, but something to make you feel different. This is like, this sucks, but it's like, this is different than all the other schlock that people fart out at me. So that's what I think. So that's what we got for what we're even reading.
Cool.
Buy it.
Go out and buy it. And give credit to Nerd Jam.
Recommend it so we get some sponsors.
Like and subscribe and send us money.
All right, next segment. What's that, Matt?
Top 7 for some reason robots. That's a little song I'm working on.
I don't like your song.
Sorry.
We have a good reason. We're just never going to tell anyone it.
Yeah.
Well, last time we did top 7 was top 7 sinister houses.
Yup.
So this is kind of a thing we're doing.
Yeah.
On episode 5? Okay.
We did top 7 sinister houses, and I said top 7 for some reason, and we figured that's what we're going to do from now on.
I like it. I like it, though.
For some reason.
It's a heavenly number.
Exactly. It is. I agree.
And this top 7, like the top 7 sinister houses, this is a ranked list.
Yeah.
So we put together our noggins, and these are the top 7 robots we both agreed upon.
Right.
In this
after
order.
Much debate and fist fighting and
hammer slamming,
arm wrestling, and
table and chair breaking.
One chair did get broken.
Matt did break a chair. This is real life story.
This is the struggle is real. Top 7 robots. Number 7 is Soundwave. Okay, and before I go on, I should say that I had to limit myself to one Transformer because I could have made a top 7 all Transformers list, but Mr. Jim here was able to allow me one Transformer in my own.
I wanted to throw in Bumblebee.
Yeah, because I'm
a bad Transformers fan, and I like the Michael Bay movies. And Bumblebee I have a soft spot for him. But I was like, I'm gonna take off any Transformers because Matt's that Transformer expert, and I'm out of my league here.
Side note: Bumblebee's getting his own solo movie.
Well, it's about time.
Yeah, but out of all and I'm basing this mostly on Generation 1 or G1 for the people in the know, the kids, the 80s Transformers. Soundwave was the business. He was the shiz knight. He had the cool robot voice.
Rumble, activate pile drivers, operation.
The greatest voice. He turned into a tape player, and he had.
That's really scary.
And he was.
That's seriously like tape player. What am I gonna do with you?
He was one of the biggest toys, and so they made him on the show one of the biggest robots. But then when he transforms, he actually shrinks into like a human-sized tape player that they can like carry around in their hand.
It's convenient.
And there was a couple different stories on the cartoon where like they used him, like, smuggle him into some facility, like some guard at a power plant would be like, here, listen to these tunes while you're at work, and he'd be like, okay, and bring his tape player into work, and then it would transform into Soundwave and start shooting the place up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He also had tapes that would come out of when he was a tape player, the tapes would come out of him, or when he was a robot, they would come out of his chest. And so he had Laserbeak and Frenzy and Rumble.
Laser beams.
Laserbeak.
Oh,
is a bird. Laserbeak.
Oh, I've read this. They're spies, right?
Yeah.
That's how he gets his news.
Yep.
His nerd news.
Laserbeak actually appeared in the third Michael Bay Transformers movie. Remember the crazy bird robot? Mm-hmm. That turned into like 8 different, basically turned into whatever it felt like, whatever it saw nearby at the time.
What my superiors need me to.
Please, you don't have to do
Suicide you.
Stupid, but anyway, that was Laserbeak. He had a little dude that would come out of his chest that would make earthquakes, and he was called Rumble. And then he had another little dude that didn't appear in the cartoon much that was called Frenzy. And then when Michael Bay made his first Transformers movie, they had a tape player that turned into a robot, and Michael Bay's like, there, that's Soundwave. And the pre-screening fans were like, no, Soundwave's way cooler than that. And then he was like, fine, let's call him Frenzy.
So it's like, F off, you get no Soundwave.
You will call him Frenzy instead. And the fans were like, yeah, I guess. That works. So, same guy that did the voice of Soundwave did the voice of Dr. Claw and Inspector Gadget.
I feel like singing.
So there's a little.
Oh, that's a great voice.
Yeah. And he did the exact same voice, but they just like produced the crap out of it for Soundwave. Like layered it up and harmonized it, and so he just did his Dr. Claw, Gadget, I will destroy you. But then they made it so it was all like, Soundwave, Laserbeak. It's a horrible impression.
Initiate brain scan.
Hollywood's smart because when they made the Inspector Gadget movie, they thought, no one likes that voice, we'll just pick this British man who's all in the chick flicks instead of someone with a BA robot voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Hollywood wins again.
Here's one for the road.
Yay. Number 6. Go for it.
The androids from Aliens.
We went back and forth over should we pick Bishop, should we pick Ash, should we pick Bishop, should we pick Ash? And then I was like, ooh, what about David Fassbender? What's his name? His name's David, right?
It's David, yeah. I just wrote Fassbender because...
He's just... yeah.
But the Alien franchise, they did Ash, and then that worked amazing.
That was a great robot reveal.
Then after Bishop, they couldn't help themselves, and they're like, we gotta do this in every one of our movies now.
Yeah.
Because there was one in the third one, there was one in the...
There was like Bishop Returns in the third one.
It's kind of a debate if that was... It's a debate if in the third one if that was Bishop or not. I don't care.
I don't think it was.
I don't care if it was or not.
I think it was like the same model. Like it was like another Ford Taurus. It was another...
Oh,
Bishop
okay.
unit.
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't think it was the actual owner. I think they were just trying to mess with...
I think they were trying to mess with Ripley, but they just got like another, like how in Terminator there's more than one T-800 and they all look like Arnold. Mm-hmm. I think there's more than one.
Sure. No, that's exactly. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I think it happened. Like he's like, no, I'm the real thing, and
yeah,
no, I guess he does show emotion.
Yeah.
Like he goes no as she throws herself in there, but I just can't tell if that was bad filmmaking or if that was just who knows. Because the Bishop and the Aliens. He wasn't emotional. Mm-mm. He was like he followed the 3 rules.
Yeah.
Do you know what the 3 rules are, Matt?
I know Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics.
Yeah, that's the 3 laws. They use this in more than one movies.
Yeah. We can't talk about robots without mentioning Isaac Asimov, who basically pioneered robot science fiction. But the 3 laws of robotics. The first law is a robot cannot harm a human being or through an action allow a human being to come to harm. Mm-hmm. The second rule is that a robot must obey all commands from a human except in those cases where the commands would contradict the first law, i.e. harming a human being. And the third law is a robot must protect its own existence except in those cases where it would contradict with the second or the first law.
Yeah. And you know which of the androids in the Alien franchise didn't follow this?
Dave Fassbender?
No, Ash.
Ash, okay.
Ash of all things.
Bring back life form, priority one. All other priorities rescinded.
Yeah, exactly.
Ash was trying to murder them all.
Yeah.
No, Ash. That's why I had such a big good dilemma, because Bishop was like the perfect for the good side. Ash is the perfect sign for the good bad side. And David, I think David is a middle ground.
Right.
We don't know what's on the other side.
Oops.
But what I like...
He has motives, but at the end he's like, I'm gonna help you out, girl. But, like, because he dips the black goo in the guy's cup for some reason, because he secretly David's an a-hole. I don't know. That's his motive.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's part of the whole problem with Prometheus is no one knows. But anyways, Bishop and Ash, what's neat about that is Ash is like the surprise, secret, evil.
Yeah.
And then in Aliens... Sigourney Weaver's like, you're a robot. I don't trust you. I don't trust you, robot. You're not gonna fool me.
Well, I like how they.
And then Bishop is like, actually, no, I'm good. Right to the bitter. Right when I get ripped in half,
ripped in half and spills milk everywhere.
Spills milk all over. But don't cry over spilled milk. Spilled Bishop milk.
Oh God. I like the introductions of them. Ash, like as soon as you see that Ash is an android, you have to rethink his motives its motives from the very beginning of the movie. Why did he let at first when he let them on board the ship, because they weren't supposed to be quarantined, but they weren't. So it was like at first you're like, oh, he's doing it for science and he's going too far with his science. But later on you find out Mother's like, let him on board. We gotta bring the species to whatever. They will make it. We'll control it for somehow. They'll do it.
Business.
Business. Mr. Business is ruining everything.
We can President Business. We can sell this for monies.
You rethink everything. It's a surprise. It's like, holy shit, this isn't a person at all. And then in Aliens, at first it was kind of subtle because they're like, oh, that's cool. They don't make it a big plot twist. They're like,
right,
this is Bishop. That's a robot.
Yep.
And then the big detention is her trusting it.
Yeah.
And I'm on board with Ripley. She should be very paranoid. Like Bishop is the actor that got to play him was a very calm, collect man.
Yeah.
And like I guess if I met him for the first time, I'd be like, okay, I trust you as a robot.
Distance 128.2. Well, that explains it. And the A2s always were a bit twitchy.
I wish that actor would have been in more movies.
How many movies do you want to be in?
I don't know. More than Aliens.
Well, Aliens and Aliens to Third Power.
The chance of a lifetime.
Yeah.
he was in that at the end. And the fourth one had the gal, and that was supposed to be another twist.
I don't even remember the fourth.
I'm trying to think of the actress's name because
half human, half alien that had a booger nose. That's all I remember about the fourth one.
Oh, okay.
And there was a cool guy that got killed right away.
No, let's not go over the fourth one, but I was just trying to think of the lady. Well, Fassbender, he's great as a robot.
Oh, yeah.
He's great as everything.
He's great as Magneto. He's great as a robot.
Oh, there's one line that Ash uses.
Words purity.
And that line is so chilling.
Yeah.
That like you think of this as a dirty, evil, heinous monster, and the fact that he admires its purity is like chilling in the fact that he's right. This thing is a pure creature of destruction.
Yeah, just pure killing machine.
That's a death sentence.
Yeah.
To them, that's like you're all gonna die down here.
You have my sympathy.
That's why I have such a hard time because for the longevity, Bishop does great in Aliens, but the punch in the gut that Ash gives you in that first Alien is so surreal. You don't know what to do with yourself after that. You're like, you're F. All right, that's enough about alien androids. Matt, what's number 5?
Bender from Futurama.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
Now, I'm a huge Futurama fan. It's quite possibly one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Bender is the star robot of Futurama. There's lots of great robots on Futurama. There's the Robot Devil. There's the Dawnbot. There's Hedonism Bot.
That show does get pretty creative for being not a Simpsons. It's not a Simpsons ripoff, but the person that made Simpsons made that. But
it's made by Matt Groening, so unfortunately you can't help but compare it to Simpsons. But I think it's so much better than Simpsons.
Oh, okay. Because of nerd factor.
Yeah, exactly. Because storylines. Storylines tend to be better and sci-fi and
relationships go somewhere in that nest. Not for like episode by episode, but for the long runs. The relationships kind of go somewhere.
Yeah, and the robots in the Futurama world are fueled by alcohol, so Bender's constantly drinking, but it's
She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. I'll kill you, Amy.
He needs to be drunk
But
too.
he needs to be drinking.
He needs that rust.
Yeah, exactly. Yo. When he sobers up, he gets his 5 o'clock rust shadow. And starts getting all crazy.
It's great. They get really creative with it too. And
Yeah.
he's always got like a bottle. He opens up his little panel. He's got a bottle of something in there.
Yeah. Robot has kind of like a TARDIS-esque chest cavity where he can pull like anything out. He always has like everything in the kitchen sink inside his chest. It doesn't matter.
Well, I like the commodities of like they got the BFF thing going with him and Fry.
Fry is kind of naive at times.
Yes,
So,
that's a good way to put it.
yeah.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
And so Bender kind of takes him on a ride.
Takes advantage of it. Well, not takes advantage of it, but it's like, oh, I got a buddy to drink with.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny.
What?
You wiener.
So that's taken advantage of.
Yeah,
Take advantage of me any day you want. No.
exactly. Bender, he has the extendo arms and legs. He's very. We talked about Constantine maybe possibly being selfish. Bender is selfish.
Bender is selfish.
No argument there. He loves himself.
He always has to like exclaim like, "Oh, fine, I'll help you" if he ever decides it. But that's like rare times. So most of the time when it comes to Bender, if he does help it, it's by perchance or it's like, oh, I guess if I'm gonna find a way for me to better me, and then I'll help you.
Yeah, and he likes to steal, drink, smoke.
He likes to bend too.
He likes to bend. Yup. He is a bender.
Sometimes they kind of bring up it's like because you don't think of Bender as a bending robot because this is just an a-hole who's just around drinking and does nothing.
Yeah.
But like we need this piece of metal bent. Who can do that? And then everyone they look around and no one even seriously thinks of Bender. And I was like, all right, guess I'll do it, and he'll bend it.
Yeah.
So even though his name's Bender, that's the last thing anyone will ever go to him about.
And I like it like on some of the episodes where he's like, guess you'll need someone to bend this iron bars, and then they like open the door without, and he's like, aw. Number 4
is Ava from Ex Machina.
You're gonna have to take the lead on this one.
I will take the lead.
You've been telling me for a year to see Ex Machina, and I am like, yeah, and then I haven't seen it, and I'm sure I would love it. It sounds like the kind of thing that is right up my alley. Everything I'd ever want in a movie, and I just haven't seen it. But I looked at pictures of Ava online, so I at least know what she looks like.
She's pretty, isn't she?
Yeah.
Go on a date with her.
Yeah.
No, and I'm this spoiler alert, big spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen Ex Machina, I recommend not listen to me talk about it, but I recommend it. But Ava is chilling, a chilling factor. Basically, the premise of the movie is they bring Domhnall Gleeson and Oscar Isaac does, and Oscar Isaac's kind of like the Steve Jobs of this world. He's like, I've invented Google. I keep on making more and more when it comes to artificial intelligence, and I want you to test this. And he's so proud of himself and that he's created this android. And Domhnall Gleeson is this kind of lonely kid. He works by himself. He's a coding expert. But Oscar Isaac takes advantage of him. He's like, test this robot, see if you can tell if it's artificial intelligence. And Ava is a very charming robot.
Are you attracted to me?
She's got a very pretty face, but there's parts of her you can tell she's a robot. Like they have a transparent body. She has a transparent body. It's cool that you know she's a robot, but you forget it when those dialogue scenes when they're talking, you forget it. And her body is still made as a woman's body. You could still fall in love with her.
Right.
These things are easy to forget about because her body contours to what an attractive woman's body would be, and she's still got the skin. And she plays around with that a lot. I'm not saying like she goes, oh, what do you think about this? And she flexes her leg up.
Right.
No, she has some scenes where she goes, do you think I'm pretty? And she runs away. She puts a nice dress on, like a Sunday night dress, and she just looks gorgeous. Candor something like that. Yeah. She does a great job, and I'm gonna have to go into spoilers. The ending is very chilling because what you find out is Domhnall Gleeson's test isn't to tell if she's artificial intelligence. He can be easily tricked. She's so smart. She has a personality. It seems like. But the twist isn't his job to find out if she is artificial intelligence. It's her job to figure a way to escape from the box room she's in. Because whenever they talk, he's in a box, but she's in a bigger bedroom. So it's almost like a mind because it's like who's trapped? Is it Domhnall Gleeson or is it her? If you think about those scenes, but obviously she's the one trapped.
Right.
But she kind of gets in the like him. She kind of gets in the, so that's part of her way of just escaping. He doesn't know that she's trying to escape. And at the end of the movie, she convinces Domhnall Gleeson to find a way to help her escape. Oscar Isaac is an alcoholic. He gets him drunk. He unlocks everything. And it's really tragic. This is why I fell in love with Ava. because you start to, because sometimes the thing I get pissed off about robots is you forget the robots.
Right.
You almost want to give Roy Batty on an honorable mention
From Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. My problem with Roy Batty is he didn't. I seen nothing about him as being a robot.
Right, we kind of went back and forth. Do the replicants from Blade Runner, are they actually robots or are they artificially grown, or what exactly are they? But yeah, he doesn't act like a robot. He's not like, he's emotional. He complete random side note, Rutger Hauer, that there's a very awesome speech, the was it I've seen worlds burn, and I've seen he give that speech right before he dies. Rutger Hauer came up with that whole thing right off the top of his head.
That's impromptu?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
completely ad-libbed that entire thing from start to finish.
And my point back to her is like you forget that Batty is a robot, and it's like so he's not a robot. That's why I include that, you know.
Yeah.
And I get mad with movies because they feel bad that it's robot. It's like a human. And it's like, but that's not how robots work. F off. It's manipulating to the worst extent.
Yeah.
And with Ava, it's great because she's manipulating Jamal Gleason. She's making him feel guilty because Oscar Isaac somehow goes out of his way to be a jerk in front of him, help the illusion that he's being a bully to him. What happens at the end is she gets out, she kills Oscar Isaac, and then Jamal Gleason's like, I finally get to be with this android. I don't care if it's an android. I get to be with someone I can connect to, I love. And she's like, wait for me. Because remember earlier I said she did the dress thing. She said, wait for me. And he thinks, oh, is she going to grab a pair of clothes? She locks him in the room, says, bitch, bye, and leaves.
Oh, shit.
And the best part about that is he's giving us, he's slamming the door, help me. She doesn't even look his way. She doesn't give him like a little smirk. Like, she just, her number one objective is to escape. And she escapes, and
she has no feelings, no remorse.
No, because she's a robot.
Right.
Her objective is to escape, and she escapes, and that hit me so powerful because you're going on the back and forth about that movie because Oscar Isaac, you're like, oh, is he the bad guy? Is he messing with Jamal Gleason?
Right.
Or is, you never think Ava is so sympathetic, but that's her goal. She's going out of her way. It's all just to escape.
Cool.
And I think that's so brilliant because the whole movie, you're like, oh, they're doing this thing, they're pulling her heartstrings, they're gonna fall in love. That's so fantastic. It's like, no, she is the number one objective. One of my favorites of all time. The movie just came out last year, so I think it's, you might think, oh, it's a little early to give her such a high rating. It's like, no, this is spectacular film. Maybe my number 3 for 2015. Ex Machina, check it out. Ava's scary, amazing,
cool,
sexy. All right, Matt, number 3.
T-800 from the Terminator series.
Yes.
Arnold. We love Arnold.
Come with me if you want to live.
When we started this list, we said no, these have to be robots. We're including androids, which are robots that look like humans, but no cyborgs, which are humans with robot parts.
Yes.
And like RoboCop, for example.
Has a human soul inside.
Yeah.
Not attempting to be a human soul, but actually has a human soul.
Yeah. And then I think it's in Terminator 2, Arnold refers to himself as a cybernetic organism, and the logic is because he has human skin over his robot, but to me that's bullcrap. That's baloney. He's not a cyborg. He's a robot in a human shell.
Is that what the cybernetic organism means, a cyborg?
Yeah.
Oh, I never put that together.
Yeah.
I just took an organism because, like, what's the biggest body part you have? It's your skin.
Right.
And the fact that his skin, I thought that's what I took that as. Okay.
Right.
I'm not as scientific as I need to be.
Yeah, that's what cyborg is short for, cybernetic organism.
Oh, gosh, I'm so stupid.
Learn something new on Nerd Jam. Your nerd cred.
Oh, my God. Arnold does an amazing job of this. This is like him being a robot, your heartstrings get pulled so hard.
Yeah.
Jesus, you're gonna kill that guy!
Of course, I'm a Terminator.
You mentioned in particular Genesis.
Yeah, Pops.
Genesis, I liked it. I liked it a lot. People pooped on it.
I loved it.
I don't want to kick people in the nuts for pooping on it, but I don't know.
People didn't like it, and people didn't like it because it was a C-boot, and I keep saying that, but it was, the sequel.
It's a good reference, Matt.
Yeah.
Keep making these references that don't connect anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
I thought it was a great movie.
The reason I don't want to drop Terminator 2 is because you get that, what I think you're going for is that father-daughter relationship, right? Mm-hmm. And he's a robot. She gives him the name Pops.
Yeah.
He's not her dad, but he might as well be because she's been with her since his little,
But I thought it was a nice evolution from... Okay, full disclosure, I've never seen Terminator 3 and I've never seen Terminator Salvation. I want to, it looks good, but I've seen Terminator 1, 2, and Genesis.
You're not missing anything with 3.
Yeah.
I like 4.
But in Terminator 1, he's a nonstop killing machine. Arnold was, new to America. He was taking movie parts where he didn't have to speak that good of English, so he took Conan the Barbarian and a crazy murder robot. And whereas weird.
He looks good in a leather jacket, and that's all he needs.
Yeah, he was a big buff dude, and he had a weird accent, but who cares? He's a weird murder robot, and it worked for him. And then in Terminator 2, he starts to evolve, where John Connor says, "No, you can't kill people." So then he just starts shooting people in the kneecap. And John Connor's like, "What are you doing?"
He'll live.
That's great. That's charming.
Yeah, I didn't kill him. I just shot him in the kneecap.
And that's funny that after so many years in Genesis, he comes back and he's still just as charming as ever.
Yeah, and it's like in Genesis, he's almost like he's evolved almost a step further, where he's like almost not quite, but almost like. I think there's a part where they're like, "Did he just make a joke?"
They do this thing where he's fighting for his daughter.
Yeah.
And the one thing that punched me in the throat at the end of the movie is he's about to be disassembled at the end of the movie, and he goes to Captain Boomerang.
Please protect my Sierra.
I was like, "No, don't do this to me," and I almost started crying. It was a very good punch in the gut scene. The father-son relationship they got in the second one is great too. And they even had a thing going on where Sarah Connor was John's mother, but she's acting more robotic, more, we have to get this objective done. We have to protect mankind. We have to do this and this and this. And John Connor's like, "What the F am I doing this? I'm just a kid. Why am I the general? Why am I going to be a general? What's happening?" Arnold becomes more of a father, more of a human being than Sarah Connor, and I really like that contrast a lot.
Yeah, because the one time Kyle Reese is like, "Bring pants next time," and then when he meets up with him in the future, which was a very clever way to explain why he looked older as they went forward in time, and he just took the long way and waited for him or whatever, and then he's like, "I have clothes, including pants, Kyle Reese."
He's still got that charm. Well, I don't. He looks older, but the CG early in the movie, I think, I don't know if it's immaculate, but it looks dang good. It looks 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Like you could almost, you won't be tricked, but at the same time, you're like, "Oh, that's the first movie happening."
There's so many good lines with the T-800, like "I'll be back." Of course, Arnold's trademark line was originally from the first Terminator, and "Give me your clothes, your boots, your motorcycle." Just
"Come with me if you want to live."
Yeah, exactly.
Hasta la vista, baby.
I love that scene. They make it sillier in Genesis, but in the second movie, he's rocking around with this giant box of roses.
Yup.
Shotgun. It's like, how more BA can you get?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the one thing I always joke about, and he rides a Harley Davidson, of course.
Yep.
And while he's riding a Harley Davidson with a semi chasing him, he's able to one arm pop a shotgun.
Yeah.
And that's not how shotguns work.
No.
But Arnold, you know what? I don't think Arnold could do it. But if you're Arnold, you're not going to
If you're a superhuman robot, you can do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what we have about the T-800.
Yep.
Number 2.
Brainiac from DC Comics. He's a supervillain.
He's Superman's main supervillain.
Yeah. Brainiac is, and I don't know what the most current iteration is, but he was basically an artificial intelligence created to be like the most intelligent thing.
Information is most valuable if I am the only one who possesses it.
Yes.
See? Yeah. Evil, he collects cities and bottles.
I'll tell you what happened in the most recent thing.
Okay.
The Green Lanterns, they're trapped into a planet, and then what they end up finding out is Larfleeze is involved, and Larfleeze is using a broken Brainiac machine, and he's using a Brainiac machine to help him with his collection. And I was like, "Oh my God, Brainiac and Larfleeze they're collecting together. It's so adorable."
Yeah.
It's not the Brainiac; it's a broken Brainiac machine, but still the fact that like the idea of Brainiac and Larfleeze working together, because when it comes to greed, you can't have two single-minded people working together, so they needed Brainiac to be broken. But I thought that was a great twist that it was Brainiac collecting for Larfleeze. But besides the point, Brainiac is an amazing robot who finds ways. He's one of Superman's greater villains. Besides Zod and Lex Luthor.
Nothing can stop me from draining your planet dry of all its data.
And I had originally suggested Metallo, which is a robot with a kryptonite power source that fights Superman, but he's kind of, when you get right down to it, he's kind of one note. It's like,
it's a gimmick.
Yeah, "Hey, I'm a kryptonite robot, whippy!" Okay, but Brainiac is a lot more depth. When I was young, like probably 6-7 years old, I had this big, thick Superman comic book that had reprints of some of the older issues, and I think it might have been even like the original Brainiac story, and it talked about how these people on this alien world, they wanted to create, they were like level 8 intelligence, and they wanted to create the ultimate intelligence, which would be level 10 intelligence. And so then they created these computers, and the computers were level 10 intelligence. The computers like took over the planet. They're like, we're smarter than you measly flesh creatures, and like dominated the whole planet. And then the computers were like, we can make level 12 intelligence. And so the computers made Brainiac. And then Brainiac turns around and destroys the computers.
Sure, because he's smarter than everything. Yeah,
so
of course.
So it was like turn the tables on them. And as a kid, I thought it was so cool, and yet at the same time completely terrifying for some reason.
Oh, sure.
I was horrified of that as a kid.
Well, that's what makes him a great robot, is the idea of the robots turning against us. You know, we brought this up a couple times, the T-800 and all that. But Brainiac is so much smarter than any of those. Its intention is to do it. It's not by default. Its intention is to do it, and he wanted a little collection in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, and then that's the thing with him being one of Superman's main villains, is that Superman, he just does what he does because he wants to save people. He's not using much smarts. He's not going to say, I gotta sit back and think about how to approach this. He's like, no, I gotta just go and save it. And Brainiac sometimes uses that against Superman.
Brainiac's like, I know Superman's just going to fly right in and punch things, so I'm going to set up this
little trap,
punch-proof net to fall on him when he comes barreling in.
And he does a little switcheroo as he goes, go to this place where all the danger's happening while I collect Metropolis. And Superman's like, oh, okay. And then he's like, I got Metropolis now. It's like, oh gosh.
And Superman's like, I got played like a fiddle.
I shall enjoy hurtling humankind back to the Dark Ages.
And even in one comic I read, Supergirl, because Supergirl was from Krypton. She actually got to, well, obviously so Superman, but she got to exist on Krypton. She got to feel the guilt of leaving Krypton. So she's like, yeah, Brainiac attacked us. We had to fight the Brainiacs all the time. Brainiac is everlasting machine that goes throughout galaxy per galaxy trying to collect everything he can. He thinks of planets like Pokeballs, and he's got to catch them all.
I played DC Universe Online for a long time, and he's like the main antagonist of that. He goes from planet to planet, and he learns everything there is to learn about the planet.
All will be one with Brainiac.
And then it's like, okay, I'm done, and like crumples up the planet like you would crumple up like it's a paper
garbage
and throw it in the garbage.
Done with these ideas.
Yeah, I'll take this city, and I'll take this city, and I'm good. You know,
so that's what makes him so overwhelming. When like everyone always like makes fun of Superman because he's like, oh, he's invincible. That's what. But that idea right there, he's collecting more and more intelligence. Superman, what's Superman gonna do? He's not. He doesn't know where this guy comes from. Whenever they do a new storyline,
at the end of one of the levels, basically Brainiac gives this soliloquy about how you can fight against him, you can win temporary victories, you can stop him temporarily and postpone it, but inevitably the entire universe will be the sum of his knowledge, and he will be one with everything, and it will be Brainiac. It's just kind of like, geez, that's depressing.
We're going to save Red Sun for another time.
Oh, yeah.
But Brainiac is a very big part of Red Sun, and you don't really know it until the end.